So we're going to drill into that. We're arbitrary spacing 4 initial holes, and then we'll maybe tack a little bit more on. The EM survey we did when we did our magnetics, the EM anomalies, when the guys create surface rock, they find the mineralization. And this is the highest priority EM anomaly, and we know that our EM survey is basically a roadmap to mineralization. If we go to those anomalies, we find mineralization. So we're kind of shooting fish in the barrel, but it's still exciting because nobody's seen those fish before.
StockPulse.com, we are on location talking hidden treasures here with Nicole Brewster from Renforth Resources. Nicole, good to see you here at PDAC.
Great to see you. Thanks for stopping by our booth.
Yeah, so obviously we hunt hidden treasures here. That's what we do, and that's what you do, so we cover you. But you had something exciting to talk about here as you're treasure hunting here. Something new and exciting here you've never drilled before in a certain spot, so talk about that.
Yeah, so as you know, we've got battery mineralization on surface, and we ground truthed it. 2 systems, 20 kilometers, and one in the north that we've covered 9 kilometers of a bigger system. But what we're doing that's super exciting, all our drilling to date has been right beside the road and the power line. So that's how the mineralization was found historically in the 1940s, drilled very briefly in the 1980s. So that's where we concentrated. But we ground truthed, as I said, our guys walked the entire 20 kilometers and surface sampled. And the very western end of the property, so 4 kilometers west, which is, I don't know, a couple miles, from where we drilled off our 2.2 kilometers, at the very western end, the guys sampled the mineralized system. We know it's there because we saw it on surface, but it's never been drilled. It's never been cleared. We did the first clearing. We just opened up the on-site roads because for all we have road access from the national highway on the property, we've got logging roads. So we just cleared all the ice and snow, chipped all the trees, and for the first time ever, that area is going to be drilled. It is the highest priority anomaly because we did a geophysical survey of that 20-kilometer trend. So the highest priority anomaly is in the west. We interpret that the structure might fold on itself, which is always very interesting as well. Our geophysical data only goes 100 meters, but we're going to drill in that 100 meters depth for the first time ever. We'll be the first ones to do it.
Well, that's exciting. What are the details in the program? How many holes? How deep?
Probably the details on the program are pretty loose because what we're doing, all our drilling to date, we've drilled about 10% of the property, 10% of the northern, well, less than 10 of the northern, and 10 of the southern. All our drilling's been for structure. So we're kind of drilling blind. We see the structure geophysically, the pronounced magnetic signature for the nickel. We don't see a signature for the zinc copper. We just see the nickel cobalt signature. So we're going to drill into that. We're arbitrary spacing 4 initial holes, and then we'll maybe tack a little bit more on depending on how the budget holds up and the visual results. We fully expect to get mineralization because the EM survey we did when we did our magnetics, the EM anomalies, when the guys create surface rock, they find the mineralization. And this is the highest priority EM anomaly, and we know that our EM survey is basically a roadmap to mineralization. If we go to those anomalies, we find mineralization. So we're kind of shooting fish in the barrel, but it's still exciting because nobody's seen those fish before. So there you go.
Remind investors about the infrastructure you got there.
So the property, as I said, it's just south of the national highway. It's in Quebec's near north. So we're in Toronto right now. And I live just 20 minutes east of here. From my house, I can drive to the property on well-maintained national, government roads in about 7.5 hours. The road goes right down the center of the property, and that is where we just turn off it and start drilling. But the other neat thing we have on that property is we have hydroelectric power lines from 2 generating stations south of us. So it's truly green power. But then when you look at the property, it's 330 square kilometers. So it's 4.5 times the size of the island of Manhattan. It's huge, but nobody lives there. Think of all the people in Manhattan and nobody lives on this property. There's no significant water bodies. There's no species at risk. Good relationship with the First Nation. But the real ace in the hole, this is what you call a brownfield property. We're south of the Cadillac Break, major mining structure in Canada. mine due north of us is the crown jewel of Agnico Eagle, Canada's largest gold mining company. That's about 15 kilometers north, half an hour drive, 20-minute drive. But we're tied on to the Canadian Malartic mine, now held 100% by Agnico Eagle, but it's an open pit mine, 4 kilometers long and 400 meters deep. So why is that important? Because it's a gold mine, so we're talking nickel, we're talking zinc, we're talking copper, we're talking battery metals. It's important because it's an open pit. And it's an open pit right beside the highway. Like, it's ridiculous. You're on the highway, you look over, you're like, whoa. Open pit right beside the highway, but they moved half a town to build that open pit. So we are, as the crow flies, we're perhaps 12 to 14 kilometers due west. Nobody lives there. Our mineralization's on surface. It's polymetallic battery metals. It'll be open pit mined one day. But when you've got an open pit next door, you can build another open pit. How are they going to say no? They said yes to them. So what all of these things do, the hydroelectric power, the road access, the lack of things we have to move or negotiations, a good relationship with a business-oriented First Nation, and an open pit precedent next door, this all drives the future cost to mine as low as it could possibly be. My cost to explore is ridiculously low because the drillers sleep in their beds. And people drive to the site, and if they want a coffee, they can go get a coffee. We're not in the middle of nowhere. We don't use helicopters. So the open pit cost to mine, or the cost to mine in general in the future being super low, means the grades can be low. So right now we're looking at a large-scale, low-grade nickel sulfide polymetallic. That mouthful really means our grades are comparable to the operating Talvivaara mine in northern Finland, which is operating 2 open pits and heap leaching the results. We look like we could do the same thing, but the other thing, and I'm going to look real quick. Oh, they didn't put my rocks out yet. I would show you. We drilled 3.4% nickel. That's super high-grade nickel. But we're just drilling, I told you at the beginning, for structure. We haven't started following our high grade yet. So our grades could all go up. That's the hidden treasure. Where did that little squirt of high-grade nickel come from? Can we find the pool? Time will tell. Drilling will tell.
Yeah, and what's timing on all the drilling and all that?
So we're going to be drilling, the drill company's here, and they'll be on site March 15th, I think they told me. My geologists will be on the road next week once we're done PDAC, because they're young guys. They're doing their own personal development here. There's lots of technical courses and stuff. So yeah, we'll be drilling. We'll probably be drilling for about a month, so we'll drill into April, and then samples will go to the lab. What we've started doing is holding all our samples to the end, wrapping them, shrink wrapping them, wire stapling them down to pallets. We ship them out of province because that way they get handled much faster, and we get about 6-week turnaround from the labs, which is ridiculous when I think back to what we used to do. But in today's world, which has changed, 4 to 6 weeks is amazing turnaround. That has our drill results received sometime in May, out to the public by June. So, not the only thing we got going on, but it's certainly the most exciting thing we have going on.
Well, that sounds exciting. Well, you just opened a question there, so what else you got going on?
There's been lots of headlines in the Canadian news about how PDAC is going to be M&A focused this year. So conversations about, we have a lot of non-core assets in Renforth. So can we monetize for shareholders any of our non-core assets? It's an open question. It's dialogue you've heard me talk about for a while with Parbec, our gold deposit. So it's just a matter of time of waiting. Someone at some point will make offers that I consider acceptable on behalf of shareholders. Being a large shareholder myself, it's got to be an offer that makes sense. So we haven't seen those offers. We've seen offers, just not ones I've liked. But I think it's just a matter of time there'll be something I like come out of the woodwork. So
hidden treasures among hidden treasures, potentially.
Right? That's the thing. That's the game. So new rock, never before seen. Super exciting in my world.
Heck yeah. We'll look forward to keeping our eye on it. So that's Nicole Brewster, Renforth Resources, and she's Quebec's newest. Is that right? You're the newest nickel cobalt.
I'm the biggest.
The newest and the biggest. And some virgin rock. Look forward to keeping our eye on it. Thanks, Nicole.
Thank you. Great to see you. Enjoy the show.